Audi's range-topping and most design-focused SUV is the Q8. Although mechanically related to the Q7 3-row SUV, the Q8 emphasizes style and performance, but don't confuse it with the Q8 e-tron, which is an entirely different vehicle. The 2024 Q8 and SQ8 get a light refresh this year consisting of a design and tech update that modernizes the car's looks. On the other hand, if you are looking for a vehicle that combines off-road capability, luxury accommodations, and be a status symbol, but if your budget can't stretch to the big model, then the 2024 Range Rover Sport is an alternative that's nearly as satisfying. Despite its smaller dimensions, the Sport has a similar silhouette to the more expensive Range Rover, but with an added dose of attitude. But if you can't decide which one is better, in this video we'll compare both SUVs' designs inside and out, pricing and how they drive. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. The changes to the 2024 Q8's exterior are subtle, but add up to give the crossover a sleeker, more elegant front end. The grille is less chiseled than before and flows smoothly into the headlights, similar to how the Q8 e-tron's grille is integrated into the lights. The air inlets in the front bumper have been enlarged, with an optional package offering the grille in gloss black, creating a more sinister appearance. Audi also revised the layout of the Matrix LED headlights and will be offered with high-tech laser lights that boost the range of the high beams, and the daytime running lights on the top-spec models can swap between 4 different lighting signatures via the infotainment screen. The side profile remains largely unchanged. Out back, however, the rear light bar has a simpler look and can now be had with Audi's digital OLED lighting units, which are also customizable, while the new exhaust setup is fitted, flanking a redesigned diffuser, which round out what amounts to a very nice rear end. The Range Rover Sport is a staple in the company's SUV lineup. The prior generation enjoyed a 9-year run without actually aging, which is probably why the 2024 redesign looks pretty much the same. The new Sport's headlights are even slimmer than the previous models, but the overall shape is so similar that you would have to park them alongside each other to figure out what changed. The side profile remains the same with clean lines and subtle contours, emphasizing its refined yet rugged nature. The main change is the new power-operated flush door handles, which contribute to the slick looks and the slippery 0.29 coefficient of drag. At the rear, there are far less angles and sharp creases as you will find in the Audi, with slimmer LED taillights and an overall softer design giving it a more modern look. I honestly think it's hard to choose which one is better looking, and with both being pretty similar in size, if I had to choose, I would probably go with the Range Rover Sport. Jumping inside, in typical fashion, Audi has crafted a sophisticated and sturdy environment inside the Q8. The materials are premium and the panels are expertly aligned. While the base model misses out on upscale features such as 4-zone climate control and a leather dashboard with contrast stitching, it has standard heated front seating and a panoramic sunroof. Only the top-of-the-line model offers massaging front seats, upgraded leather surfaces, and quieter dual-pane glass. As for infotainment, dual center screens blend seamlessly into the gloss black face of the dashboard. The center display is a crisp 10-inch display, and below is an 8.6-inch screen. Both use haptic feedback, responding to your touch with a reassuring click like physical Audi buttons have for years. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also supported. The lower unit primarily handles climate control functions, including the heated and cooled front seats and the heated steering wheel. Directly in front of the driver is Audi's 12.3-inch virtual cockpit digital instrument cluster. Although this has been around for a while, it still feels cutting-edge, able to push the speedometer and the tach to the sides and make room in between for navigation map or trip info. As for Range Rover, the cabin is Scandinavian in its minimalism. Material quality is nothing less than exceptional, every surface looks and feels lovely, ambient lighting is quite nice, and the headliner is of exceptional quality. Fabrics are used tastefully on the door cards and seats, and you can also add open-pore wood in higher trim levels. Most of the controls are found within the quick-acting touchscreen, except for the climate settings, which are still thankfully controlled using dedicated knobs. When it comes to infotainment, you get a large 13.1-inch curved touchscreen and an even larger 13.7-inch screen parked in front of the driver to display the gauges. Land Rover's Pivi Pro interface is the company's best attempt at in-car infotainment yet, but it's not without its quirks. The displays are crisp and clear though, and it looks high-end, flowing in above the Range Rover's upholstered dashboard. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity are standard. As for passenger and cargo space, the 2024 Q8 seats are comfortable with the front seating area being wide and there is plenty of headroom above you. A broadly adjustable driver's seat provides a lot of customization options for your posterior comfort. The rear seats are far enough back from the front row that you will have more than enough legroom even for the tallest of passengers. As for cargo space, it boasts a healthy 31 cubic feet. With all the seats down, you get 61 cubes. To the surprise of no one, the Range Rover Sport is a pretty comfortable SUV with a serene highway ride and more than enough room for 4 adults and their stuff. The front passengers enjoy a class-leading 40.3 inches of legroom up front. Jump into the back, and you find that rear passengers get considerably less legroom than those up front at 37.8 inches. Both rows are very comfortable, thanks in part to the air suspension with air springs and adaptive dampers. As for cargo space, it boasts a larger space than the Q8 at 31.9 cubic feet. However, with all the seats down, it's smaller at just 53 cubes. When it comes to pricing, to get a 2024 Range Rover Sport, you will be paying a premium. The base 360 SE model starts at $84,500, which is over $10,000 more than the base Q8. Next is Dynamic SE at around $92,000, and the plug-in hybrid P550e Autobiography is $120,000. As for Audi, the base Q8 Premium starts at $74,900 and comes standard with all-wheel drive, LED headlights and taillights, and 21-inch alloy wheels. The Q8 Premium Plus is $79,000, or if you want the most performance out of your Audi, then the RS Q8 with its twin-turbo V8 is the one for you at $125,000. Now to the driving test. The Range Rover Sport is slick to drive, even in the lightly optioned SE trim. Under the hood, you will find a 355 horsepower variant of the electrically supercharged and turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 that appears in various other configurations. And while the straight-6 output is comparable to that of the Cayenne, the engine is incredibly smooth and refined. Touch the throttle at low RPM and the supercharger delivers instantaneous boost, ramping up the torque until the turbocharger kicks in. And while this engine is not the slowest, it just doesn't hustle the way you might expect it based on the Range Rover's rakish looks. It hits 60 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds and covers the quarter mile in 14.3 seconds at 96 miles per hour. It is a very comfy place to cover some miles. Get the 8-speed automatic settled down in a tall gear and the straight-6 snoozing at low RPM, and you could be convinced you are driving an electric vehicle. It's that smooth and that quiet. In fact, at 70 miles per hour, you will hear a mere 66 decibels of interior noise, which is virgin on luxury sedan levels of quietness. The standard air springs and adaptive dampers also further the impression of luxurious, untroubled heft, even with the 22-inch wheels. No matter how bad the surface, the Range Rover Sport paves the road ahead with confidence worthy of its reputation. As for Audi, it provides every Q8 with a turbocharged 3-liter V6 that makes 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. It pairs with an 8-speed automatic transmission and quattro all-wheel drive. A 48-volt hybrid assist system aids stop-start operation, which is smooth and quiet during driving. While it has plenty of passing power on the highway, it feels hesitant around town unless you crush the gas pedal. The transmission has mostly dutiful reactions, but it and the engine best cooperate in dynamic mode, which provokes snappy responses. We only wish the engine and exhaust made gustier sounds. While it swiftly changes directions and obediently hustles around corners, it's less engaging than Audi's sedans, such as the sleek A7. The Q8's steering has light effort and linear feedback, which is relaxing on long trips but boring on switchback roads. With adjustable ride height and 4-wheel steering, included with the adaptive chassis package, the Q8 is agile in tight spaces and capable of tackling most choppy terrain. Its brake pedal is easy to modulate at highway speed, but suffered from inconsistent reactions in traffic. So, which one should you get? Well, I believe this is a really easy one. While the Range Rover offers a very compelling luxurious package, the Q8 is the winner here since it somehow ends up being pretty comparable in every category, from exterior design, interior space and tech to even being cheaper to buy in its non-RS variant.